Bienvenue dans l'opinion, le journal qui vous donne la parole. Nous sommes actuellement à Stockholm où nous sommes allés interroger les Suédois sur les aspects fondamentaux du système qu'ils représentent. Voici leurs réponses.
It's divided, I guess. The rich are making more and the poor are getting less. So it's yeah, that's the way it is in this country.
I think we have a strong finance right now, and I think people are saving more money now because of regulations in how you can borrow money for housing, for example. So I think our economy is quite strong, and I think people are spending as usual.
I think it's where you come from, because I'm not from the big city. I'm from the the countryside, and the people they're happy with their lives. It seems to me when I come to Stockholm that people are more stressed out. They're always hurrying, you know. Like the subway, there comes a train every 10th minute, and they're hurrying. Like if you miss the train where I live, you have to wait 2 hours. So everything seems more stressed out, and you need a career and stuff.
People are used to it being expensive. A lot of people are, and I don't really know how everybody thinks, but I think this is not news for us.
Nowadays, I mean, a lot of Swedish people think that it is quite expensive, you know, especially things like, I would say food, and perhaps alcohol is quite expensive too because of the taxes we have. But on the other hand, we have a lot of benefits that allow us to, in general, to pay for those things. I mean, if you look at overall our income per person is a lot higher than, you know, other rich countries in Europe, like the United Kingdom, for example, you know, where it is considerably cheaper. So in one way or another, it balances out. But I do still think that the taxes on certain goods and services are too high today. So it's a balancing act for sure.
They are really strong purchasing power, because for us when we travel somewhere it's quite cheap. So and many tourists say that it's too expensive in Sweden. Depends where. US tourists, they say that it's too cheap, but in Europe in general I think we're one of the most expensive countries.
I think it's even more expensive abroad, because the Swedish crown is very low compared to euro and things like that. So it's very expensive to go abroad, I think. But in Sweden it's expensive, but it's good, yes.
We have a huge difference between classes, so I mean it's very expensive here in the city, in the central city, but if you go outside it's not. I mean, you can see it's a huge difference. It's only a few people that afford buying stuff.
There are more and more tourists coming to Sweden because of that situation. The economic situation is, for them, is cheaper here, just here in Sweden, and because of the Swedish crown has devalued. Have been sinking in value. So for us to be a tourist in another European country is more expensive.
I was in Madrid a few weeks ago, and it's very different. When you come here, it's really different. You can tell that a lot of people are rich, but I don't really think about it that much.
We want people to band together so that people with much money, a lot of money, have the same amount of power as people with less money.
I think that more stuff should be lower in price, things like tampons and stuff like that I have to have it because I'm a girl, because your period it's natural. So I think stuff like that should be more cheaper. But I mean things like alcohol and stuff, I think it should be higher in price because it's not normal and stuff like that, and it should be very expensive, because I don't think many people should have the ability to buy it, because if it's cheap then many people should have the opportunity to buy it.
I think it's very hard to say. I think it depends on either if you live in a big city or if you live in the countryside, and what level of salary you have. So I think it really depends on your economic status.
We can go to school pretty much for free until high school, and then after high school we have to go to university, and then you have to pay for it. But I think our system is good because it encourages you to go for a higher education.
We're not very good actually, that we should be better and that other countries are much better in education than we are.
We're afraid of setting people ahead of each other, so we're quite afraid of competition that way. So I think that the only way for us to bring back a qualitative and high standard education system is to start grading earlier in school and really making sure that we give each student the chance to sort of shine and progress in the areas that they're most comfortable with.
Education for all Swedish citizens and I think even EU members is free. So that's really one of the outside Europe there is not a lot of countries or even in Europe where you can get free education. And it's quite good because people are free to choose. They really can do whatever they like, make their dreams come true, and you don't have to fight so much for that. So of course there is a high concurrence if you want to do engineering or medical science, but overall if you want to get a high education you have all the opportunities for that, so just go and study.
You learn how to behave in the new world, I would say. Innovations and things like that, thinking new track, and so I think that's very good.
You have a possibility to educate yourself even if you don't have money. So it's a very good system.
It's very good because it's very free. The individual can express themselves in different ways that isn't in a lot of countries. The education is down to all this, all these norms of the society. In Sweden, it's much more free. Be who you are and try the best at the things you're good at and do what you want.
There's a big lack of teachers because they don't think they get paid enough. Yeah. So they don't want to work. So that's kind of a problem. But otherwise, I guess it's good. Yeah.
We're not the best when it comes to educating in math, for example. But when it comes to social issues and history, I think we're at the top of the world, sure.
The system is too much bureaucracy. But annars, yes, very good.
I did part of my education here in Sweden and I was very satisfied. So based on my own opinion, I would say, yeah, it's good.
The education, I think it's pretty good, but it's the teachers that teach that's pretty bad.
I think people are afraid of things they don't know. So that's why we see the racists and stuff like that.
We had a terrorist attack last summer in July last year, and I think very many got scared. I don't think we are very exposed to those kind of things compared to London and other countries, so I don't know.
It's much more easy to feel good in a place when somebody tells you do this, do that, do that, do that. But in Sweden, we don't do what you want.
Young girls are probably not very secure when they're out in the streets, and nor is young boys, and especially not in certain areas where there are problems, very much in the suburbs and also in the city. But it's still much more safe than in many other countries, I think.
We do have clear problems today that involve, integration in the suburbs, where police cars are being burned almost every week. There's areas, where ambulances and fire trucks can't go safely because of the issues we have there.
Swedish people are quite friendly, and me as a girl, I'm not afraid to go here during the night because you really feel safe. So I would say it's a safe country for tourists, it's a safe country for if you're not going to the trouble areas. So overall, I think Sweden is a very, very friendly one.
The biggest problem is Sweden are selling out the welfare system.
Probably in some areas that people are more insecure because of this high unemployment, and lack of education and so forth.
We do have an issue with integrating immigrants from areas where there's a lot of war. So when they come here, we don't since we don't integrate them, they don't become part of the society, and they don't want to protect the society because they don't feel part of it. That will leads to issues like we saw just the other night with the burnings in Gothenburg, probably.
The criminality in Sweden is kind of low because we have a lot of police, and the security in like boutiques and stuff like that is kind of high.
Like if you're in like the LGBTQ community, you could have some problems. Or if you would say like you're black, I think we still have racism and homophobia in the country, even though it's not as bad as in other countries, it's still pretty bad.
On espère que cette vidéo sur le système suédois vous aura plu. On vous remercie de l'avoir regardée. N'hésitez pas à la partager si elle vous a plu, à mettre un pouce bleu et à vous abonner à notre chaîne. Quant à nous, on vous dit à très bientôt dans l'opinion, le journal qui vous donne la parole.